Hi, we're doing the 2018 Tables, Equations and Graph paper, question 3b, and this is the second video that we're doing. So far, we are doing part 2, and it says describe major features of the graph that represent the relationship between the area of the red and its radius. Because it says area features of the graph, you do have to draw the graph. You've already done the table in part 1, so let's have a look at the graph. We need to draw A equals 3r squared, which is that formula that comes in here. Okay, when I've done this for you. Okay, so here we go. So this table here, we've actually just plotted it on a graph. So across here, we need to have 1, 2, 3, 4 for the radius. And up here, because that goes up to 48, we need to make sure this goes up to at least 48. The next tidiest number is 50. So we've made the scale from 0 to 50 and just plotted the points. I've done them sort of with little blue crosses. Because it starts at 1 and goes to 4, and it can't be below 1 and it can't be above 4, I'll put a green dot there and a green dot there to show that it starts here and finishes here and can't be outside of those. When you're asked to talk about the major features of the graph, well, when we talk about parabola, we know that it has to be a U shape, which we only have part of the U shape here, and we usually talk about the turning point. The turning points can't be seen here, and then we talk about its any x and y intercepts, and there are none here. So what you have to do is come out with things. So the first thing I put over here when I talked about features was it's a parabola shape, just to know that we're talking about having a y equals x squared graph type thing, okay, and we've only got part of it. I could write a little bit more if I needed to. Well, one of the key things, it starts at the radius of 1 and ends at a radius of 4. At the same time, I should have put down here that the area, if it starts at r is 1, that means that the area of the red circle goes from 3 and goes up to where r is 4, which means that the area of the red circle is 48. So I've just added that in there, and I'll put a little arrow to show that they're connected. And the other thing that you probably need to talk about is, because it's not a straight line, you probably need to talk about the gradient. And you notice that as you go, as the radius increases, that the gradient of the curve also increases, which means the area increases, and it keeps increasing at a higher rate. So I tried to write that down, probably didn't do a very good job of it, but here we go. As r increases, the gradient also increases. You could put the gradient of the area, because you do need to have context. So I tried to write it with context underneath. As the radius increases, so does the area. And that's where I've get context clearly into there. Okay, and that would be enough to get you a good grade for that. Right, moving on, we're going to do question part 3. State the equation of the graph that represents the total areas of the red and the blue circles as the radius changes, which means that you're going to have to make another table. So what you want is the equation of the total of the blue and red areas. To do that, you're going to have to enlarge your table. So there's the table that I had to start with, and I've made it bigger. So we need to do the radius of the blue, the area of the blue, and then work out the area of both. What you know is that the radius of the red one happens to be r, is what we've started with, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And they must add up to 5, because the radiuses need to add up to 5. Remember, it's half the diameter, which is given to you, which is 10. Okay, so if the radius of the red one is 1, that means the radius of the blue one has to be 4, because it's got to add up to 5. If the radius of the red one is 2, then the radius of the blue one has to be 3, similarly going this way down that table. And if you want to work out the area of the blue, same formula, which are these things here. So therefore that would be 4, which would give you 48, 27, 12, and 2. And then you have to add them up. So we're adding up here that the area of the red plus the area of the blue, and that will give us the total. The total area for that one is 51. Total for the next one is 39, 39, 51. And you notice that it's probably going to be a parabola looking like that. So that's probably going to be an x squared graph. Okay, by the way that the numbers are. Now you can get that out of your calculator. I did it, I'm going to get it out of my graphics calculator, and we'll finish that off for the next video. Okay, you want the equation, I'll just, hang on. Yep, I'll get it for the next video.